So the inspiration behind the album title, Vino ONATV, I was at a vineyard for a birthday party. It was just me and then a whole bunch of women. So I posted on Twitter, I'm the only nigga at the vineyard. And my homie Greg commented on it and was like, yo, that'd be a dope album title. So I was like, okay, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna roll with that. Shout out to Greg on that one. Over time, I was like, you know what? I want this to be more mainstream, more commercial. So I decided to change it from only nigga at the vineyard to why not at the vineyard? Still the same initials. That's how it came about. Shout out to Greg. So the vibe I'm going for the project is late 90s, early 2000s R&B, bouncy, groovy, love, night out with your significant other, a lot of drum lines, a lot of guitars, island kind of type music. Just something that embodies something that you can drink wine to, whether it's a Cabernet or a Pinot Grigio or a Prosecco. You know, you might want a mimosa or something. It's something that you can, you know, wind down with or, you know, turn up with your significant other too. So just going with something that's more love-based, but also bouncy, something you can groove to. What sets me apart from other R&B artists is my inclination to be more about love outside the bedroom and regular day life. It's not all about sex, it's not all about drugs, it's not all about getting all freaky deaky. It's more like, you know, let's go out, have a drink, let's go out, get some good food, let's go dance, let's go have some fun, let's be a regular couple. It's more about interaction in a relationship rather than intimacy. But you know, there's still some intimate parts about it, but love is the overall thing. Love and happiness and fun. So I came up with the album cover at the birthday party at the vineyard where I was the only guy there. I was sitting on a chair, a couple of girls were sitting on the chair with me, and the photographer, she was like, hey, you know, this would be a good video to get for some content. So I was like, okay, good, let's shoot some content. You know, I need content. And she decided to snap some pictures while she was doing the videos. This particular picture came out crazy dope. In the discussion about what I was gonna do for my album, that was one of the pictures that I kept going back to. So I went to Platt Gamma, shout out to Platt, and I was like, yo, can you help me turn this into an album cover? So he came up with a dope idea to blank out the eyes of the women, kind of like a mysterious type of vibe. I just felt like that embodied what the sound of the project is. You know, we're at a vineyard, me surrounded by women, because that's who I make the music for, is the women, to show that, you know, there's guys like me out here that's, you know, we like love. It ain't all about toxicity, you know what I'm saying? We getting back to the real stuff. That was the inspiration behind the cover. Like I said, shout out to Platt for coming up with the concept for it. And yeah. So currently my favorite song on the project, the one called Be Down. That one, it really embodies the true artistry of me as an R&B artist, from the harmonies to the melodies to the, you know, me alluding to the classic R&B with the call and responses, the runs, the singing like from my chest. It kind of shows my different layers of an R&B artist, and then the production, the sonics of it all, it just all comes together to make a beautiful sound. So I got to go with Be Down. So my sound for the album is a little bit funk, a little bit pop, mostly R&B, kind of merging those three genres together to create something that, you know, is commercial, but also like very delicate in the R&B space. From the drum patterns to the guitars to all the different instrumentation, the production, the skits, the intros, the interludes, all of it is pretty much setting up like a date night to, you know, making it back home and winding down type of thing. The sound, I would have to go with something like late 90s, early 2000s R&B, you know, that Aaliyah, that Justin Timberlake, that early Usher, you know, that kind of vein. The music that I grew up on and that influenced me. So I just wanted to bring that back and show like that's what made me who I am as an artist. So I just want to pay homage. So if I were to set the scene about like where my music would be played, I would have to go with anywhere. Primarily, I would probably have to say like a lounge or like, you know, cocktail hours, corporate events. You know, it's something that, like I said, anybody can listen to, anybody can groove with. It's all about love. It's all about courting, things of those nature. I don't think I could put a place or time to what this album can be played at. You can play it at the cookout. You can play it at home by yourself. You can play it on a trip to the store. You can play it on a trip while you're on a date night. You can play it anywhere. So I'm really proud of what I was able to create in order to not put it in a box, but also have it be broad enough, but also compiled enough that it makes sense. So the project is made for me. If I'm being honest, you know, I make music that I love because I want to make it to where I want to listen to it. But it's also for my woman. I wrote these songs about her because the way she's impacted my life. But outside of that, you know, outside of the mushy, it's for, you know, everyday people. It's for people that are in relationships. It's for people that love. It's for people that want to get away from the toxic stuff and get back to showing each other love and being, you know, at one, at peace. You know, these gender wars going on right now all over the internet, and that's not the truth. And they're trying to paint it to be like that, but that ain't what it is. And you know, that's what this project is for, like saying, hey, we still out here. We love, you love, let's love together. So the type of career I want is a successful one, but I don't want to be, too big to where I can't maintain my integrity of who I am as a person. I don't want to have to compromise and put a shell up because people constantly coming to me, hey, yeah, Shegogg, probably, I'm cool with it sometimes, but like I still like to be myself. I still like my privacy. I like to be low key, out the way, not into any drama. I guess a perfect example would be somebody like a Currency or a Larry June, or like even on a bigger scale, a J. Cole, out the way. Somebody beefing, I'm gonna take that step back. Just something low key, but still being able to support myself and my family off of, my creativity. So, yeah. Man, my best quality when making music, it's kind of hard to narrow that down because I love every part of it. I gotta say the writing, like I approach writing as a rapper. I used to be a rapper. I still rap. Like I approach my bars and my writing as if I'm, trying to be metaphorically inclined and throwing hints out there and, little subtle intricacies in all the words and the verbiage and stuff like that. So definitely the writing. But, close second, honorable mention, I got to go with the harmonies, man. Like, I love backgrounds, I love harmonies. Anytime I hear a song, that's pretty much what I'm focused on. So I try to make those stand out just as much as the words themselves. So yeah, that's what I got to go with. Oh man, my top 5 R&B singers, no particular order, purely based off of how they influenced me as an artist today. I gotta go with Usher, 8701 Project. That's when I really first started singing for real. My grandma would pick me up from school and be like, hey, sing this song, and it's always Usher. So gotta go with that. Chris Brown, that's in my real growing, coming of age, like really getting down into the singing. And it was relatable. It was, he was young, just as young as I was at the time. And it really, helped me decide how I wanted to approach my music at that point. Justin Timberlake, just the pop and funk influence that he had, especially with Timbaland tracks, produced tracks. Like that sound, it just does something different. It gets me moving in a way that a lot of music don't really do. So I gotta go with JT. R. Kelly, like his production, the pen, his influence on the whole R&B game at the time was just worlds above anything else. So you got to put some respect on that, separating the artist from the person, because you know how that is. But R. Kelly definitely major influence. And then I got to go with Dave Hollister. My pops used to play the Ghetto Hymns album all the time, and like every song on there, like I would hear it, like, man, this is just great music. Like I wish I could be like this. I wish I could sing like this. So I started molding my voice and my artistry around how he approached those songs. So he's probably the biggest influence on how I approach music. So I got to throw him in there. Who is Shegogg? Shegogg is a lover that talks about experience through hurt, through passion, through joy, through happiness, through pain. Going back to my older songs, my older projects, I went from love to hurt. Now I'm back to love again, and just seeing the growth that I've had from that point to now. I think it shows that, I have resilience. I've been doing this for a long time, but I think I'm just now starting to figure out like how I want to approach the whole thing and actually put the effort into it to make something out of it. And, so resilience, I'm never giving up. Melodic, the pen is there, the harmony's there, the songs are there, the artistry is there. I'm a mix between Usher, Chris Brown, Justin Timberlake. You could throw some Aaliyah in there. It's a lot of complex parts that, kind of all come together to make Shegogg. But in a nutshell, Shegogg is the next best thing, simple as I could put it. My favorite part of the process when it comes to making music is that first listen. Hearing a beat for the first time, that initial just feeling of, oh, this is how I would approach this, and using that foundation to create the song out of that. A lot of times I would just get a beat, turn it on, turn the mic on, and just mumble to it or freestyle to it, and then I'll just cut that out and arrange it in a way that makes sense melodically and harmony, and if I actually said some stuff in there that I want to keep. But that part of it, it's like a game. It's like putting a puzzle together, just based off that initial listen. I feel like that initial listen is how your soul would approach the song, so I try to keep it as close to my first run through as possible, and that's my favorite part. If I can collaborate with any artist, I would probably have to go with Beyonce. Like I see Beyonce artist-wise as like the top tier. Like from production to melodies to the runs that she hits to the backgrounds to just everything that goes into her project, into her music. Like I feel like that would elevate me to a level that I didn't even know I was capable of reaching, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm all about growth. I'm all about evolving and putting myself in situations where I can grow, where I can get better, where I can learn. And I feel like, why not learn from the best? You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's been doing it for so long on top. It's a lot of people that do it for a long time, but never on top as long as she's been on top. You know what I'm saying? So learning from her, being able to do, get in the studio with her, work on some stuff with her, I think that would just elevate me to a level of just surpassing what I believe initially what I can accomplish. So it definitely had to be Beyonce. If If I signed $1 million deal, first thing I would do is call mom. So I just be like, yo, mom, I made it. And I finally did it. Like, I've been working this hard. It's finally done. You know, we there. We made it. We did it. And that conversation would just be tears of joy. You know what I'm saying? I can see it now. But first thing I would buy, I can do the right thing, you know, solidify my living situations. But my first splurge would be my dream car. You know, 1967 Shelby GT 500 Mustang matte black, gold trim. I already know what I want. So that'll be, you know, the first splurge. And then from that point forward, man, it's just, you know, investments, you know, trying to make my money work for me and then paying that back. Because, you know, them advances, that's a loan. So I got to get out of that as soon as possible. But definitely going to get the car. Oh man, so what wine would pair best with the album? So every song would pair with a different wine, but overall, I think the one wine that encapsulates the project in its entirety, sonically, I would have to go with a Cabernet Sauvignon. You know, not just because it's my favorite, I might be a little biased, but just the full body of a Cabernet Sauvignon, just the way that it sits on your palate. Like, I feel like I created a project that sits with you past that initial taste, past that initial listen. And you know, a Cabernet, it does that. So it's like a perfect metaphor, honestly. Like a Cabernet being a little dry, a little on the heavy side, but there's notes in it that, you know, it brings you back to earth. It brings you back to comfort. I feel like that's what my project has. So the perfect wine to pair with the project, gotta go with a Cabernet Sauvignon.